Hello, glorious inner city Spillway that is up a lot higher than I expected. How the hell are you today? My name's Josh. You know me from last year, but might as well reintroduce myself. Last year you were pretty good for flatheads, and I've been kind of on a flathead hunt, so to speak. And yeah, we've only caught one this year, but it was a big one. So yeah, this is the second spot of the day trying for flatheads, and it's not looking too great, but could be worse. We can manage. Stuff and things, but wow. Alrighty, boys and girls, we are down at the local Spillway that's just about 10 minutes from my house. I haven't fished it this year. I tried once, somebody was here. I don't really know if they caught anything because I didn't talk to them, but yeah, there's been some foot traffic, and this time of year, this spot can be pretty good for flatheads, so that is why we came here today. We have 2 goldfish, we have 1 dead bluegill that we can use for cut bait, and we got night crawlers and we got lures. Hopefully one of those things work. They usually do at most of these spots, as you have seen previously in my videos. Hopefully we can catch them on swim baits. Last time we came here was last year, and we caught a lot of them on swim baits. We also caught like 5 in one day, so there's not necessarily a lot of size here. I know people do catch big ones, but there is a lot of numbers of flatheads, and I love flatheads. And I've told myself that I'm gonna try my best to catch a lot of them this year, because last year it kind of sucked. But yeah, without further ado, come along with me. I think I'm gonna try some lures first, and then we'll go from there. Stuff and things, but alrighty, well, I have a popper tied on, and even though I'm not gonna be able to catch a flathead on a popper, I'm just gonna try it, because might as well. So let's sling this thing out here a couple times and see if we can get something, and then either switch to a swim bait or something like that, and then get some live bait or cut bait out. Let's do it. And stuffs. Oh, second cast with the popper. It's just a gar, but second cast with the popper. I only threw it just because I had it tied on, but second castola. That's pretty cool. Topwater creek bite. I didn't think it'd really even work, but it did. Definitely did. Saw something kind of nip at it. Didn't think it had it, but then I couldn't find where it was at, so I figured out that something probably had it. Took me a little longer than most, but we got there. We got there. Oh, we hit it. Missed it though. Did he get it? He got it. That's a bigger one. That's a bigger one. It's pretty decent. That's pretty decent. Oh, I was kind of hoping he came off. Gar and treble hooks just don't mix. I mean, they do. That's about the only way you can really hook them, but yeah. Grabbing gar with treble hooks doesn't seem like the best idea in the world. We ain't gonna do this forever, but we're gonna do it a couple more times because that was pretty fun. Nothing like a topwater blow up, boys and girls. Doesn't matter the species. Doesn't matter if it's a shitbag gar out of a shitbag creek. It's really, really muddy and really flowing. Just doesn't matter. Okay, maybe it matters a little bit, but you know what I mean. Topwater is legit in all varieties. That's fun. That is fun. I haven't caught a gar this year besides a 150-pound alligator gar, per Tyler's guess, but I wouldn't mind catching a couple little gar skis. That didn't look like a gar. I wasn't really looking at it though. You guys tell me, was that a gar? Didn't really seem like a gar. But the likelihood of it being a gar is probably pretty high. Kind of neat though, something a little different. Something a little different. They're just hiding behind these rocks to get out of the current a little bit, I believe. They all seem to be right next to shore. Even the one across the way, that's bigger. That's a long-nosed gar, I think. Fun fact, this is actually the only place I've ever caught a long-nosed gar. If we hook a long nose gar, we want to keep him pinned. That wasn't the long nose. Maybe we can get a long nose on cut bait though, trying to go for flatheads. Pretty funny. I want the big one though. Where's he at? He ate something off the surface. They're just everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Let's try across the way again. Just a lot harder to keep it up against the rocks on that far side. It didn't matter, one hit it anyway. It's always fun to try shit that you wouldn't think would work. I mean, muddy creek, flowing harder than shit, throwing a topwater in the middle of the day. Probably getting more bites on this than we would on night crawlers. While they're not the most desirable things ever, they are kind of cool little dinosaur species things. And with this water flowing like that, when I set the hook into them, there's some weight there. Even if they don't weigh that much, between the current pulling and then the fish, feels heavy. I was not ready for that. Yapping too much. It's missed the fish of a lifetime right there, boys and girls. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. That long nose looked like it was like 35 inches though. That would be pretty neato burrito if we could get his ass. We'll keep trying and stuff. I'm gonna break this popper in half, I can already tell. Not on a fish, but from setting the hook and it flying into the damn rocks. Poor popper bud. Poor popper bud thought he was just gonna wake up and have a normal day in the tackle box. Apparently not. He set the hook for me, or I was getting ready to pop it and sucker just went airborne. Man, some days you just gotta, let's go and have fun, you know? Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Definitely not what my intentions were, but it's kind of a good time. Little snake bud went airborne. This is the sketchy part though. Not only do I have to watch out for the hooks, I've got whapped by these things and their scales cut my arm up. Okay, I about got a hook in my hand. We better be careful. First short nose gar landed of the year. If you haven't seen a gar, they're pretty crazy. He's trying to whap me right now, but when I was a kid and just started fishing, I just thought these things were the coolest things ever. Never knew how to hook them, never knew how to catch them. But, yeah. For some reason I can't get his damn mouth open. There we go. There we go. Pretty neat little bud. Pretty neat. Not super ideal, but pretty neat. Get out of here, you little snake. Alright. We landed a fish, so I'm gonna throw out some, I'm gonna throw out a goldfish. And we'll just start with a goldfish, actually. I might have to go up and get my catfish pole that has a little bit heavier weight. I knew the water would be high, but I didn't think it would be this high, so I'm not sure if 2 ounces is gonna do it, but we'll start with that and see what happens. I predict though, with how many gars are around, if we get a bite, the likelihood of it being a gar is probably higher than it being a flathead, but I've got a lot of flatheads here, so we'll give it a college try. And in the meantime, we can throw a popper for gar. And hopefully get a long nose. It's pretty deep. I think it's holding. It was holding. Let's see if we're snagged already. No, we're not. I might have to go re-watch my video. I forget exactly where I was casting for the flatheads when I fished here last year. So we might have to do some research on our own video. But for now, we'll just chuck it there and hope for the best. Getting beaten to the rocks and looks pretty silly, but it might work. It might work. All right, clouds came out, popper stopped working. I'm gonna try something a little different. Cut up the bluegill. I'm gonna throw out some cut bait for flatheads. See if a gar eats it. Goldfish hasn't done much. So I'm gonna do a little treble hook on this with a bobber. Just kind of float a piece of bluegill around and see what happens. I have caught some big channels here, so I don't know, it's worth a shot, you know? You know, you know? You know. That's a bite. Just threw that out, got hit right away, bluegill head. Kinda seems flatheady, also kinda doesn't. Hard one to tell. The fact that it's coming up to the surface probably isn't a good sign, but it is a bluegill head, so I mean, it might be a long nose. The problem we have is it's a circle hook. I mean, if it's a flathead, it's good that it's a circle hook, but if it's a gar, not so much. Might not completely land them, but at least hopefully we can get to see him. It feels pretty heavy. That's definitely that is most definitely a fish. Instant on the bluegill. Got him. Got him. I don't know what it is, but it's not bad. I don't know what it is, but it's not bad on the bluegill head. Might actually be a flathead. Not bad. Come on, flathead. Yeah! Woo! We got one, boys and girls. We got one. Oh man, all this gar just went ballistic. He is not big, but we got one. He's not terrible though. It's hard to lift up with my hand. Pretty, pretty, pretty. I literally just threw that in, something had, I'm pretty sure it was a gar. But flipped it back out there, cut bait. Cut bait. We might be just fishing with cut bait, boys and girls. We'll see. Could have been the spot that was more important than what the bait was. Pretty sure I just hit him in the head and stuff. Man, I like the little flatheads, they're so unique. He looks tasty too, but I don't, eventually in my life, I'll grow a pair and kill a flathead, but I just don't want to. I like them too much. Alrighty, he's not a giant, but this is the year that I'm really gonna try for flatheads a lot, and I've still been trying a lot, and probably about 24 hours deep of trying to catch flatheads, and this is my second one. He's a lot smaller than my first one. If you haven't seen my first one, I caught it on a square bill and it was giant, but still just so cool. I love flatheads. I don't know why the lighting's acting weird, but little flatty. Picture for Instagram? Cool. Let's get him back. I'm gonna have to figure out what this green rope is about too, but first we'll get little flathead bud back. Soaked me. Absolutely soaked me. Didn't take long with cut bait. Starting to lose hope a little bit, but the gar were fun to start, but main goal accomplished is catch a flathead. So I know people have caught some big ones here, but that's about the size I normally catch. Might have to try the swim bait, I don't know, but for now I'm getting another piece of bluegill out and stuff. Something ate the night crawler. I think I have a wild guesstimate as to what that might be. I would imagine based off the beginning of this video, you guys have a guess as to what it might be as well. if you guessed yet another garfish, you were correct. Well, boys and girls, after that flathead, we just couldn't really get much going. Tried the night crawler up top, tried the night crawler down below, tried the swim bait, tried the square bill, tried the blade bait, we tried everything. But yeah, I mean, mainly gar here, but I'd imagine there's probably another flathead somewhere up under that thing up there, but we sure as shit couldn't catch him. Broke off on our catfish poles lots of times, don't even have a catfish bait out, and don't even possess a catfish bait anymore, so I think it's about time that we leave. But yeah, I don't know, could have been worse. I wish we would have caught a long nose gar, that would have been pretty cool. Nice little change of pace from the skinny, short nose, tiny ones. But yeah, we came for a flathead and we got a flathead, so what more can you do, you know? We tried our darndest, stayed for 3 or 4 hours of just wasn't quite happening after the first one. But yeah, if you like this video, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe. Probably a little bit of a shorter video, but hey, what can you do? I'm gonna go try to get another video today and go fish a completely different spot, so maybe see that soon. If not, then you'll see something else. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you later and stuff and things. Wow, goodbye.